Prop has always felt like Adderall without the side effects. It is the best feeling ester. To me, it feels a little bit better than cream. Cream feels really good. Test Prop feels better. And you know what I want to do in this video is explore and confirm some of my thoughts or suspicions on the matter that specifically dopamine is at play in a large way, in a very fucking major way with Test Prop versus testosterone cypionate and some of these other long esters. I also have a very interesting finding, which also confirms my suspicions about the masculine and the sort of energy and that kind of dominant feeling that comes with taking testosterone propionate, in that in certain areas, like certain very fucking important areas, there is more DHT from using Test Prop versus other esters. So yeah, Test Prop turns up the energy, ramps up motivation. It just makes you feel functional cognitively like no other ester can. And in this video, boys, I'm gonna explain why. All right, before we start the video, look, Cortex Labs is a performance optimization and hormone consulting company for men. We got a range of different products ranging from the Torque Stack, which is basically Adderall without the side effects. That's on sale right now. The code is on the screen. You can get it down in the description of this video. Our most popular product right now is the Source List. This is a compilation of trusted sources for anabolics, ancillaries, and hormone hacking agents. Everything from DHT, Proviron, Testival, any ester, anything you can think of, also down in the description of this video. Lastly, I am a coach mainly on TRT protocol redesign, but also I've got longer packages where if you've got sexual dysfunction, especially erectile and libido issues, you can work with you for an ongoing period of time, and you can get all that stuff at livecortex.com or down in the description. Look, I've been through a lot of the Reddit posts on testosterone propionate, and you should go to reddit.com/r/testosterone and just search Test Prop or the word propionate, and you're going to find all manner of anecdotal experiences, people having a lot better of a time, both in terms of energy and motivation, but specifically in terms of libido and erections. So there's no shortage of posts like this. This is relative to trying Test Prop. Guy goes, yes, sir, I've played around with Prop over the years. He goes, libido is hit or miss on enanthate and sometimes really bad, basically unreliable. Just started 4 to 5 days ago into a blend of Test E at 10 milligrams and Test Prop at 10 milligrams daily. And then he goes, just 2 days in, and libido and erections are through the roof. Again, this is not uncommon with Test Prop. Here's another one. This is a guy that just changed and just got on Prop. Guy goes, honestly, I would say the libido has not changed just yet. I know the feeling. I was on enanthate for about 3 months before this. The first 2 weeks were awesome, but I started to feel shitty and had zero libido, and EQ was terrible as well. This kind of shit happens on long esters. Again, the estrogen distribution, the conversion to DHT, all this stuff is different, and in my opinion, suboptimal compared to Test Prop. Guy goes, but even though I haven't felt the libido just yet, my morning wood is almost a problem. I woke up this morning and waited 5 minutes and it would not go down. I had to piss in my bathtub. Those are the kind of problems you want, boys. Okay, but to look into, so Test Prop obviously revives libido and erections. It's just better for the system. I don't want to say it's natural, but it's kind of closer to your own inborn testosterone. It suppresses the testes, the HPTA, a lot less than other esters, you know, and it hits you a lot quicker, converts to DHT more, in my opinion, and does a bunch of other things. But why does it feel like Adderall without the side effects? Let's bring us to a paper relative to dopamine and Test Prop, which is titled Testosterone Propionate Improves Motor Alterations and Dopaminergic Damage in the Respirine-Induced Progressive Model of Parkinson's Disease, in which they basically lay out that testosterone propionate prevented the weight loss and dopaminergic damage in the VTA, okay? That is the ventral tegmental area, and that is a pretty critical region of your brain that projects and makes dopamine. They go, our results suggest that chronic administration of testosterone propionate has a protective effect in a rat model of Parkinsonism, improving motor alterations and dopamine depletion. Test P is having some protective effect on both the ventral tegmental area, again, projection area of the brain for dopamine, as well as in preventing dopaminergic neuron damage. Man, this is very fucking powerful and does imply testosterone propionate has a greater, more pronounced effect on the dopaminergic system, and I would wager that it is likely more via its high fast peak than compounds like testosterone cypionate or testosterone enanthate. Here's a paper which you think would be bad, or you think it says something bad, but it really tells us that it's enhancing dopamine release. It's titled Testosterone Enhances Dopamine Depletion by Methamphetamine in Male, in which they were using testosterone propionate, and ultimately Test Prop plus methamphetamine induce more of a dopamine depletion than just methamphetamine in and of itself. Why would this happen? That is probably because, you know, methamphetamine, things like Adderall, etc., they force dopamine release at an unnatural level, thus depleting the ventral tegmental area's ability to project dopamine because you've got too much around. It kind of downregulates. But, you know, Test Prop in the picture further exacerbates that issue because Test Prop is highly dopaminergic, right? It's probably forcing more dopamine around, and the VTA, especially in the presence of methamphetamine, can't keep up with it. Okay, so what it comes down to is test prop is more dopaminergic. We know from studying testosterone that testosterone increases dopamine in males and humans via the upregulation of an enzyme called tyrosine hydroxylase. That's like the first step in your dopamine conversion, in your conversion from tyrosine into L-DOPA. Then there's a different mechanism by which, a different enzyme by which L-DOPA gets converted into dopamine. But testosterone in general helps that first part of the dopamine synthesis process. Now, look, if you have an ester that is skyrocketing testosterone quickly, and it seems more bioavailable and definitely has different pharmacokinetics versus testosterone enanthate and testosterone propionate, your levels go quantifiably higher on the same dose, in some cases on lower doses than using cypionate. Well, it seems very plausible that it's enhancing the dopaminergic profile of the brain. That is reason number one. It feels like Adderall without the side effects. Now, reason number two I found digging into the literature actually has to do with DHT. Okay, more DHT. I've always suspected via a little more hair loss, a little more of that DHT-like effect that test prop renders more dihydrotestosterone, in the whole hormone dynamic versus some of the longer ester. And it would make sense. It's shooting up quick. It's got to start converting. It ends up converting slightly less to estradiol in some sense because the aromatase enzymes probably have a hard time keeping up with that rapid rise in testosterone. They can't convert. They convert at a certain rate. They can't just convert right away at the rate that test prop peaks. Look, this is a paper that's titled Effective Long-Term Testosterone Propionate or Human Chorionic Gonadotropin Administration on Reproductive Glands in Adult Male Rabbits, which they say something really important relative to DHT. They go, testosterone propionate increased total androgen with testosterone predominating in the blood. Okay, so more testosterone was in the blood from using testosterone propionate. Dihydrotestosterone predominating in the testes and most accessory sex glands. So what this is really telling us is that test prop has a great affinity to be producing or converting to DHT, mostly in the testes and then accessory, sex glands, accessory sex glands, seminal vesicles, etc. But what this tells me is that there is more DHT, ultimately more DHT being converted from the use of testosterone propionate. They do not compare this, by the way, to testosterone cypionate or testosterone enanthate, so we don't have a comparison. But again, my suspicion is you get more DHT, which is backed up by my experience and clients' experiences as well, when you use test prop versus longer esters. The anecdotal that I'm going to give you in my experience of prop matches a lot of other people's experiences with prop. People in this comment section on videos all the time throughout this channel, every video about test prop, go, I switched to prop, I feel so much fucking better. When I dose prop, as I have many times, I've dosed cycles of prop, which felt fucking amazing. I've dosed TRT for prop. I've dosed high dose TRT, like 280 milligrams a week of testosterone propionate. Every time I feel more motivated, I feel more alive, I'm happier. My brain is like awake again. It was almost as if I was walking in some degree of like a 10 to 15% catatonic state otherwise, like where I'm still functional and whatever because I take care of my body. But test prop, it just revs the engines, man. I have more energy, I'm more interested in life, and I'm far more motivated, and I have that dopaminergic feeling comparable to fucking Adderall but without the side effects. If I could compare the feeling of test prop to a nootropic, it would either be modafinil, okay, which is a highly potent dopaminergic, or it would be the torque stack. All right, torque feels very dopaminergic via a lot of dopaminergic and adenosine receptor modulating compounds. And so test prop feels like a nootropic. It's like turns on the dopamine pathways of the brain and gives you energy. As we all know, and those of us that have taken Proviron or have taken raw DHT powder, we know there's also an additional masculine, energizing, confident, motivating type of feeling that comes with DHT and DHT analogs, specifically Proviron and DHT itself, that is likely via alterations in the dopaminergic pathways in the brain. Test prop gives that feeling. It's almost like it's like a twofer, right? It's enhancing dopamine and it's enhancing DHT, which in and of itself is masculinizing and gives you energy, but which DHT also enhances dopamine. I've been through protocols before, starting at 20 milligrams a day or running 40 milligrams every other day and then moving up to 80 milligrams every day or 40 to 50 milligrams a day of test prop. Look, I've seen people go up to 100 milligrams a day of test prop. Yeah, that's a test cycle for sure, but they feel fucking awesome and everything functions great. But seriously, if you're having issues on cypionate or enanthate relative to libido and erections, but importantly energy as well, just switch to test prop. You know, you start pinning testosterone propionate, you are going to feel in the first day probably, but if not likely the second, third, and fourth days moving forward, like so much better. You're going to see what cleaner testosterone feels like. I feel like prop is just cleaner testosterone because it is closer to raw testosterone. All this talk about prop, you know, I'm finishing up an enanthate cycle. I moved up to 700 milligrams a week just to kind of see the gains really aren't that much different, although it hasn't been, you know, that much more time. And honestly, I love prop so much. I'm probably going to be switching back at some point soon. So I'll keep you guys posted on that, because I kind of do miss that dopamine motivated energy feeling you get from prop. But suffice to say, this is the breakdown, and this is why test prop feels like Adderall without the side effects. It is enhancing dopamine via these Parkinson's studies. It's enhancing DHT in sex glands and likely elsewhere, including the brain. And it is, again, as I've said 100 times, and I will continue confidently standing by my assertion, it is the superior ester. All right, boys, look, I just got a slew of new clients in, so I'm limited on spots. If you need to book me for a 3-month or a 6-month program, you have to do it now. These are the kinds of programs where we get a lot done. We need time for these. If you have the budget and you have sexual dysfunction, especially libido erectile issues, this is where we get the most resolution of these problems. Also, though, there is a TRT specific consult. It is a TRT protocol redesign. Look, if you're having issues with your protocol, we'll get it resolved. I've seen it all hundreds of times. And then Sourceless has officially arrived with vetted sources for everything you can think of, including DHT and provider. You can get that down in the description below or at livecortex.com. All right, gentle sirs. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you have a great week. Content coming soon. Hit the sub button if you're new. Plenty more content that you're going to love coming from this channel. We break things down like other TRT channels don't. Hit the like button, makes a huge fucking difference, man. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one.